We have the Packers and the Lions. You know, this recurring event of the Lions losing at Lambeau for the past 24 years. That's gone. I was in fucking diapers the last time the Lions won at Lambeau. It's over with, though. So, same with the whole, like, what was that, 15 game streak of winning at Lambeau? That's done. It's over with. We're at the end.
That one's been over. Oh man. Remember how early in the season you told me when the Saints were losing, which they're back to, which is a whole other video. But you made the statement, "I don't envy you." Yeah, I don't envy you
Right. Yeah,
because at
that's
least I know my team's bad. Yours was supposed to be good. I don't know what
You know
happened.
what? I think this is the most heart wrenching thing about 3 games in a row losing is Packer fans had this entitlement that we knew that Packers are going all the way this year. We're going to Super. It's almost like we felt
Right.
that there's just a guarantee locked behind it. And when you go 6-0 in
Right.
the season, you're like, yeah, that guarantee is there. We're going all the way. And now that kind of got lost. And losing against Denver, that's not heartbreaking. They have the best defense in the NFL. That's understandable. Losing against Carolina, another hard team, probably arguably the best team in the NFC so far. And that could always change by the end of the season, but so far, and plus you're playing at Carolina, so two road games back to back, very hard. Losing them, yeah, it sucks to lose, but understandable. Losing at the Lions, they're 1-7. Well, they're 2-7 now. They're 1-7. They haven't won in Lambeau in 24 years. It's and
Actually, they won at Lambeau like 6 days ago.
well, okay, shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, man. It's just funny.
I mean,
It's
like,
like
you
I'm not
remember
even
like
like a Packer fan, but it's a little bit unbelievable. Like
remember
I'm
when like
coping with it by
Stafford.
joking about it.
Okay, like if this is a year like where Stafford threw for like 5,000 yards and Megatron had like 20 something touchdowns, losing against the Lions that year, like understandable. Like I get it because they're a hot team. They're not a hot team. They're not a good team. I'm gonna break
Dude,
it
this
down.
that streak survived like some down Packer years, while the Lions had Barry fucking Sanders.
Yeah,
Like, and it ended on this. Like, it's pretty wild.
I could try to break it
It's
down.
pretty damn wild. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I
Try to break.
talked about before that how much I don't like
Try
down
to break it down
capers.
without breaking down.
I'm composed. I have what you said,
Okay.
like 6 days to recover. All right.
Right. Right.
Um, I already mentioned how I don't like down capers and everything, and I could argue that probably the best thing about that game from the Packers was the defense, but I'm not convinced about the defense. They played against the Lions. I think any defense looks good against the Lions this year. And so I'm not convinced on them. And I'm especially not convinced because if they're supposed to be that good, could have maybe got more sacks. I mean, haha got an interception, which was awesome, but like when you get an interception and you go 3 and out, it doesn't fucking matter, does it?
Man, I thought you were getting ready to say something sarcastic, and then you're like actually saying the dude's name.
Oh yeah, yeah I know. Well, I kind of don't anymore because I
Anyways,
think all the jokes has already
uh,
been said, and
I'm sure. Well, especially like up there, it's I'm sure it's just about like
Uh, yeah, not really anymore. I mean, especially since he's
that.
actually a good player. It's just like, okay. Well, other than the
But
joke that anytime he gets
anyway,
an interception, it's like, haha. But
I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
That's
like
pretty
the
much like,
kid from Simpsons, like.
yeah, yeah.
I
So, anyways, I'm not 100% convinced on the defense. I mean, granted, they looked better, but I'm also not convinced that they looked better because they actually were playing better. I think they just looked better because you're playing against the fucking Lions this year. Now, when it comes to
yeah.
offense, I don't know, man. Is Aaron Rodgers in a mental block right now? Is he like, does he cannot get? Because that's one thing I never thought of coming from MVP Aaron Rodgers is that you might have a bad game. All right, shake it off. You come out there, you're strong, and you come out
Right.
the next. What Aaron Rodgers is always really famous. Well, I shouldn't say famous. What I felt he was famous for is that if he loses a game, next week comes back in and he's just red hot because he doesn't like losing. He does, and he sees where all of his flaws are. He sees where he screwed up, and boom, in a week he fixes it instantly. And instead of fixing any of his problems, he's getting worse. And I honestly think it's just this bad mental blockage that he can't shake out of. And it's to the point where you have to, because you're going against the Vikings this week. And Vikings are a game up right now. So if you lose
Yeah.
against the Vikings, you're 3 games behind. Now, like, you're 2 games behind in the standings, but you're also a game behind in
Right.
just a tiebreaker for the division.
Cyber.
So
Sure.
you gotta break out of it. Devonte Adams looked better, but not
Yeah.
entirely. Randall Cobb, James Jones, I don't know. I mean, they weren't really targeted too much, but when they were, nothing impressive. This is where I think everything came down. Our offensive line hasn't looked the best, but I'm not saying this because they have a bad offensive line. I actually think their offensive line is pretty damn good still. This is what's happening is defenses are playing man-to-man coverage, so they're allowing like just the front four to get in. And if you watch every snap, it's not like a crazy blitz where like someone just like swoops in and just nails Aaron Rodgers. Okay, the play's done. He sits behind the pocket for like 5, 8, sometimes 10 seconds behind the pocket, and he doesn't throw it. Now, is he not throwing it because he doesn't have trust issues with the receivers? That's kind of some speculation that's going around. I don't necessarily believe it because the first 6 weeks that was not an issue for him at all. What I do believe is, and I really hate saying this, I don't think our receivers are playing good routes. Uh, when you're playing man-to-man coverage, when you have no receivers that are double covered at all, and you can't fucking get open, come on. And what's even more crazy is the
Well, it sounds
entire
like you're
game.
you're kind of also criticizing the play calling there.
I was gonna get to that. Hold on, I'm getting
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. I got ahead of you.
Yeah, a little ahead of me. Uh, One thing I also said is that we should go to slant routes. Look what San Diego did to Green Bay's defense. It was all slant routes. Just short passes, 3, 4 yard gains, and then try to get like yards after the catch. And it worked. It worked brilliantly.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that's a lot of what Green Bay did the year they won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
Rodgers can do deep threats, and usually goes to James
Right.
Jones. I mean, usually it's the majority, but he usually goes to James Jones, and most of the time it's working. Although lately he's been kind of overthrowing him and kind of not having great passes. Even on the slant routes, a lot of them were behind the receiver instead of it forward, and that's kind of like why the whole mental blockage is in there. But when you're doing slant routes and you can't get open in midfield, I just don't think our receivers are doing good routes at all. Like, you're only man to man covered. I mean, someone's got to get open. If you have 3 receivers lined up, someone's got to get open on a slant route. Especially when all 3 of them are fucking doing slants. And if no one can get open, you're relying on Aaron Rodgers to wait for that opening. And if he's in the pocket
Right.
for 10 seconds, of course the pocket's going to close on him. So I'm not putting any blame on the offensive line. They're doing a hell of a job. But when you have to sit there and block a guy for like 5 to 10 seconds, of course someone's going to break down. It's just going to happen. And what you're just saying, next thing, I know that Mike McCarthy took away the play calling for himself and he brought it to the offensive coordinator. But you know what? I kind of miss Mike McCarthy being the play caller. Look at last year. Green Bay was the #1 team in the NFL for most points scored last year. They had
Right.
4 different games where they scored over 50 points. 4 of them last year. They have not gone over 30 points twice this year. I honestly think it's bad play calling on both sides, and that's kind of what's fucked up. When you have bad play calling on offense and defense, when you have a stellar team that they are built up to be, of course you're gonna start losing games. And it's to the point where McCarthy, I miss you. I want you to be the play caller again. I really
Whoa.
do.
What do you think about the run game, though? I mean, that's the fact that there hasn't been much of one has got to be part of the problem too, right?
James Starks has done a hell of a job.
He has.
I miss Eddie Lacy. I don't know what's going on. I can't even
What the
speculate.
hell? Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Like there's the mystery of what happened to Aaron Rodgers, but I think an even bigger mystery is what the hell happened to Eddie Lacy.
Exactly. Like, he got hurt early in the season.
Right.
There's a whole, like, oh, well, he gained weight this year and everything, but honestly, he's a downhill runner, so if he gained weight, that should probably be better for his momentum, wouldn't it? You would
It
think.
should even if it even if it set him back, it shouldn't set him back as much as he's been set back.
Exactly. Exactly. So, he's a short burst runner, which is fine,
Right.
but he also is a good receiver for, screen passes, which he hasn't been doing well. He hasn't been doing very well running. Um, I don't know. And it's good that we still have James Starks, because I still believe that he's a really good running back. But yeah, not much of a running game. And and before Eddie Lacy, Packers never relied on a running game anyway. We relied on Aaron
Right.
Rodgers, and if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be able to play good either, then we don't have anything going on. And I want to get rid of the whole, man, I really miss Jordy Nelson. This wouldn't be the same without Jordy Nelson. Listen, I miss Jordy Nelson as much as the next Packer fan, but I'm not gonna blame 3 losses in a row just because Jordy Nelson. Like, one
No,
player is not
it's
gonna make that
bigger than
difference.
that.
It
He
is.
might have
It's much
helped,
bigger.
but yeah, it's bigger than that. I personally think this is just a slump for Aaron Rodgers. Now, granted, it's been a hell of a bad slump,
Yeah.
especially compared to what you're used to seeing. But if you look at I mean, I know this doesn't count for like winning games, but like fantasy wise, his stats have held up decently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they've been pretty good. Some of that was like, too little, too late. Not quite garbage time, but basically garbage time. And I think he'll come out of it. I don't know when. It might be too late. But I mean, because every quarterback goes through a slump. Like just a year ago, Tom Brady started the season in a slump, and
Yeah.
you know, and so I don't know how long it's going to take him. I think he will return to form. He's too young to like for me to really buy into. Oh, he's done.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's what it is. And some people were saying, oh, he'll never be the same, and I don't buy
I
that.
don't buy that. People thought the same thing with Philip Rivers when he had that bad year, and he came out
Right,
and looked better the next year. And that, I
right,
think that's what the thing that's scary is. He's definitely in a slump, and if he doesn't come out of it soon, like I'm talking this week, it is
right.
going to be too little, too late.
Right.
And
Well, I still think that it might winning the division would get very difficult, but playoff like wild card slot, it, not necessarily, not at all. I think they'd still be a favorite to get a wild card slot even if they end up, dropping this game.
yeah, I suppose there's a lot of things that
But
are
that's not
speculated.
what you want. You want to be playing on Lambeau in
Oh,
Lambeau
definitely.
in January
Yeah,
because
oh,
it's like
definitely.
one of the biggest playoff advantages. The frozen tundra and all that stuff,
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
yeah. I mean, originally I wanted number 1 seed, but then losing to
Right,
Carolina, that wasn't happening. So I'm like, well, I'll take number 2 seed at least. And
right,
now
right.
that doesn't look probably. I mean, it's to the point where they lose against Minnesota. I mean, playoffs are looking scary, and no
Right.
one thought about that when they're 6-0.
Well,
That,
it is interesting that both of our number one seeds, I think, were the Colts and the Packers,
yeah,
and that was a lot of people's number one seeds, and they have not panned out too well.
no.
Different stories completely, but wow, it's always unpredictable though. So
I I think that's the best thing. Like you touched on a little bit. Is it worrisome? Yeah, yeah. Things are pretty worrisome, and you can look at any report coming from the locker room in Green Bay, and every player saying, "Oh, it's just football. Happens in football. Like these games happen and everything, and we're not worried. No one should be worried." And most of that is just that's just locker room talk. They don't want
right,
to. They want to come
if
out
you're
and
not worried after 3 losses in a row, something's fucking wrong with you.
yeah, well, like I
Like
mean, they say that because like no one want fans don't want to hear an interview from a Packer player saying like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like no one wants to hear that. So like they
Right,
want to
right.
sound confident. They want to do that. But me personally, uh,
Wouldn't that be funny if Aaron Rodgers just came out of my room and said, "I don't know what the fuck's wrong, guys. I don't have any answers."
yeah, that would kind of freak me out a lot more.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think ultimately it's worrisome, but at the end of the day, you always gotta believe in Rodgers, and I still do. I believe that whatever slump that he may have been in, whatever mental block that he could have had, um, that he'll come out of it. What's worrisome is that it needs to happen this week,
Right.
and if it doesn't, then whew, you got to go on a big tear. Then
In the meantime, though, what did he say last year? RELAX, right?
he did, and you know that helped a
See
lot
how this
last
week,
year.
see how this week goes
He
before we
did say
can.
that last year, and I really wish he would say it again.
Yeah,
Just tell us to relax. I just need to relax. Anyway, I think that kind of follows up with everything.
I think so.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and links are in the description below. And you can tell us what you think of what's going on with the Packers. And hey, we're back, by the way. We're
Yeah,
making
yeah.
videos again.
We had a little bit of technical difficulties,
Yeah, and
so
prepare for more videos because
yeah.
we love making videos and we love hearing from you. So, all right, sounds good.
All right,
All right.
all right.
All right.